Hello and welcome to Jolineknitsalot. This is my show about knitting and crafting and the things I get up to here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. We have been riding the wave of Oiler fever, which, if you are unaware, the Edmonton Oilers are a professional hockey team in the NHL. They've just gotten to the Stanley Cup Finals and they are playing really well. So they're playing the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Finals. So we'll see how our team does, but a lot of people say that when the Oilers are playing well, especially in the postseason, like right now, everybody is a lot happier. People are nicer. So if only we could keep that going throughout the year. But I'm happy if people are happy, and I'm happy that we're all treating each other a little bit better. And I hope that people are treating you well too, wherever you are. We got some rain last night, which was much needed. There's a lot of wildfires going on in my province and across Canada, and I'm sure you may be affected by some fires where you are too. And I hope, if you are, that you're okay, that you're safe, and that you're well. And I am. My family is. We're all okay. So I hope that continues to be the case throughout this spring and summer season. I have been knitting. But first I want to tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing my Flipside tee. This cute little tee with all of the eyelets is a design by Ravelry. It's like one of my favorite patterns for summer tees. I knit it in some Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, and oh, it's such a great tee. It washes really nicely. I put it in the washer and then I hang it to dry. I would recommend this pattern, absolutely. I knit it oversized. I like it to be a bit like loose and drapey. And this is my second Flipside tee. I liked it so much, I knit it again. In the last couple of weeks, I have been watching volleyball, and hockey, which has been, the volleyball anyways, wrapping up. So enough of the volleyball knitting. I'll show you what I've been working on, but I'll also show you my two Harlow flip hats. So speaking of flips, over the American Memorial Day weekend, which was just last weekend, Andrea Mowry hosted a challenge where we all tried to knit a hat in a weekend. The hat is the Harlow flip. It's her new design, which is a two-color brioche hat. Here's one that I made. It's a two-color brioche hat, which features a folded brim, essentially. So what happens is you knit a bunch of brioche, and then at some point you reverse the colors of the brioche so that when you fold this up on itself, you see the same color on the outside. So as you can see with this one, I used this dark navy is Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in Deep Dive. That was Deep Stash. And the colorful colorway is Dream State by Spin Cycle. This one is called Truth Bomb. It seems a little bit more colorful on camera than it is in real life. And so when you switch the dominant color of the brioche, it creates a really nice fold line. So you can see here, when you do that, when you fold it up, you can see all of this beautiful color changing yarn on the outside. And then it becomes completely reversible. So if I take my hat and flip it inside out, and then fold it back up on itself. The same thing happens with the navy on the outside, and then the blips are much more subtle. I'm just gonna go get my co-host, just a moment. Blue, who is my Welsh Pembroke Corgi, he's black with tan tips, which is a rather unusual coloring for corgis. He's my co-host. He doesn't always like to appear on camera, but he does always like to get attention. So we'll give him some loving while we talk about these hats. So this Harlow hat, I started with this one on the Thursday, and I had taken a few days off last week, so I wasn't working Thursday and Friday, and I managed to knit a lot of this hat, and it was finished on Friday. This is what it looks like. I do like the doubled up brioche. I think it's going to be quite cozy for the winter, and I think it fits really nicely. I knit the size 3. With brioche, it's a very stretchy fabric, so I have not blocked this because I didn't want the brioche to just stretch and lose its shape. It is very stretchy though, so you could probably knit one of these and it would fit a number of different size heads. Andrea gives some recommendations on what size to choose. She suggests that you could knit a hat that is either 2 to 6 inches smaller than the size of your head, and it will stretch to fit. So this is my Harlow flip hat, and it went so quickly and it was so much fun. I really enjoyed this color of Dream State. It was in my stash for a long time. I had picked it up, I'm not even sure where or when, and it was just sitting there, and it turns out it was just perfect for this hat, and I'm really glad I used it. I used most of it. I think I have maybe 10 grams left-ish. Yeah, not very much left. But I had so much fun, I thought, well, why don't I just knit another one? So I went into the stash and picked another skein of Dream State that I had. Again, I must have purchased them together, maybe during a sale or something. But I had a skein of overpasses, and I picked up a skein of Farmer's Daughter Recollect, which is actually a sport weight yarn, so it's a bit light for this pattern, but I knit this hat. So again, you see all the color changing beauty that happens. Again, the Recollect that I used is a navy, which I think worked really well with this color. So this is what it looks like with the Dream State on the outside. And Dream State is marketed as a worsted weight, but I would hazard a guess that it's kind of a lighter worsted. And then if I flip it inside out, you can see the navy stands out. And that's what it looks like with the navy on the outside. Now this is definitely a lighter feeling hat than the other one because of that difference between the sport weight and the worsted of my contrast colors. But again, it's very cozy. It fits really nicely to my head. And I think that I'll enjoy wearing one or both of these. I'm not sure who they're for. With these Andrea Mowry challenges, particularly the hat ones, I usually just knit whatever. And then the hats will go into my gift bin, and either I'll grab it next fall or I'll gift it to somebody. I really do like the colors of this one. But they're both pretty great, and I think they'll both be cozy. So there's my 2 flip side hats by Andrea Mowry. And yes, I did manage to knit these both. I finished this one Sunday evening, and the challenge went until Monday at 12 Eastern, I think, which is 12 a.m. local time. So that was really fun. So the Harlow flip hat is a great beginner pattern if you're new to brioche. There are videos on how to do all of the techniques, including the 2-color cast on. If you don't want to do the 2-color cast on, you can just do a regular cast on. The decreases are a basic brioche decrease. You do a left leaning and a right leaning decrease to create the crown of the hat, which kind of looks like this. And Andrea's written pattern instructions are very clear, but you can also find videos if you need help with that. So yeah, I would say that this is a good beginner brioche pattern, as are the other Harlow hats, to be honest. The next project I have off my needles is an Eileen shopping bag. Again, this is my favorite shopping bag, and it's gotten to the point where I've made my own little adjustments to make the bag the way that I like it. So for this bag, I followed some notes that I made on a previous bag that I use all the time and really like. So I cast on 45 stitches, and I knit stockinette stitch for 34 rows. Now the reason I'm telling you all this is because the Eileen bag is a free pattern. If this was a paid for pattern, I think I'd be a little bit more cautious telling you about the changes that I made to not give away any of the pattern. But this is a free pattern, and if you go to knit it yourself, I think it will make sense to you, the changes that I made. So I cast on 45 stitches and I knit 34 rows in stockinette stitch. Then I just picked up stitches all the way around the outside, and I knit this mesh pattern for 30 repeats. So the way that I count that is just counting the little holes in the mesh. So each hole is going to be a row, or it's 2 rows actually, but 1 pattern repeat. So I do 30 of those, and then I do some knit 1, purl 1, 1 by 1 ribbing on the top, and then I do the handle. Now this handle For some reason, I made it slightly more narrow than the pattern suggests, but I would go with the original stitch count in the pattern. Also, I made this strap a little bit shorter than I normally would. So the next one I think I'm going to try and make a little longer. But having said all of that, when I put it on my shoulder and I put stuff in it, it kind of drags that armpit hole down a little bit and makes it comfortable. The only thing that I think I would do differently is to make a wider strap. So this is some leftovers from my Velocor tee. I'll pop a picture here. I had lots of this green left over, and so this is some Sandnes Garn tin line, however you pronounce this yarn. It is a viscose cotton linen blend, and I think it's really great for a shopping bag like this, and I'm sure we will use it a ton. The top color that I used is just the main color from my Velocor, so little leftovers that I had. And that is my Eileen bag. It, again, a free pattern. You'll find links to it in the show notes below. I have made this bag a lot. I get lots of compliments on it too, especially when I'm at like a grocery store and putting stuff in my bag, or if I'm out shopping. I just use them as regular shopping bags. Here in Edmonton, we have no reusable bag policy, where if you want to buy a shopping bag, you have to pay 10 or 25 cents, whatever it is. So I always take these bags with me, and I'll take maybe one or two, and I'll take this one and I'll maybe pop another one in there in case I need extra shopping bags. But I find them very useful, and so does my whole family. We use them all the time. And having said all of that, my daughter made a shopping bag this week too. I actually asked her to. I had some leftover yarn from my next project that I'll be showing you. I had quite a bit of leftover yarn actually. And so I asked her if she'd just make a shopping bag. This one is crochet, and we found a pattern online, another free pattern. This is called the Granny Square Market Bag, I believe. I'll put the title here so that you can find it. Again, a free pattern. And she just whipped it up for me over the course of a couple days. She's so fast with crochet. The yarn that my daughter used is the Line or Lena Sandnes Garn yarn. So it's twice as thick as this one. This is the fingering weight. And the one that we used for this bag is the DK weight. I used leftovers from my Geddy Tee, which I'm going to be showing you very soon. And we had almost enough. She needed one more ball to sort of finish off the top of the bag and to do the straps. So on a crafty outing a couple of weeks ago, we went and picked up another ball of yarn, and she finished this bag. So again, this is the Granny Square bag, and it looks like this. So she asked me what order I wanted the yarns in, and so I just kind of gave her some basic instructions. So it starts out like this with a great big granny square. As you can see, that's the bottom, and it just keeps growing and growing. And then at the top, it cinches in a bit, and it's got two straps. Again, this is going to be a very, very useful bag. It is heavier than this one, obviously. This is the fingering weight, and this is a DK. So just the bag itself is heavier, and crochet uses up more yarn. All of that to say, that's fine. This is going to hold a ton of stuff, as you can see. Crochet is very stretchy. I'm just looking for stuff to put in. Here, I'm going to put in my project bag. So you can see I still have room for lots of stuff in there. And it opens up really nice and wide, which is another thing I kind of like about this bag. Having used this yarn, she really liked it for crocheting. I think she used a 5mm hook and really liked the fabric that she made. So we ended up picking up some yarn for her. She's going to make a hexagon cardigan. I'm pretty sure she's just following a YouTube video, which is, I think, one of the main differences between knitting and crochet. If you are a knitter, you kind of need a pattern with specific instructions. It seems like crochet, you can follow a little recipe online, and it's probably going to turn out okay. Anyway, I'll let you know how that turns out for her, but she's been working on it a little bit here and there. after finishing this lovely market bag. So again, this is the Sandnes Garn Lina. It is the viscose cotton linen blend, a DK weight. I think actually DK to worsted. It's marketed sort of in between. But I think the pattern she found very easy to follow. She said she learned a new stitch, and I think the bag is pretty great. I'll let you know how I like it. But I'm quite happy with the colors. That's the one thing with all of these Sandnes Garn yarns, particularly these like summer weight ones that are made with plant fibers, with the viscose and the cotton and the linen. The colors are just amazing. Like these colors and also these colors are all available in both weights of yarn. So we're really enjoying, both of us are really enjoying the selection of yarns and the way that it works out. It's really, really lovely to work with. So as I said, the colors for this granny bag, apart from this light blue, are all leftovers from my Geddy Tee, which I thought I'd show you now. I've been making some really good progress on this pattern. I think it's going to be a fun, cool summer garment. And let me show you where I'm at since last time. I think last time I had separated for the armholes and I was working on the body. So here are my granny squares at the top. I made mine the same, but other makers have made them in varying colors and using the colors in different orders. I really liked this red and I kind of wanted to give it its moment, I guess. And you can see actually the colors here are all the colors from the bags that I've made. So the green and this neutral color are from that first bag. And then these three are all from the granny stripe bag that my daughter made. I'm using this Arctic Ice, I think, color. It's a really pale, almost gray blue. And just last night while I was watching the Oilers game, I did the Italian sewn bind off on the body. So one difference I made from the pattern itself is I knit the body a little bit longer. That's just my preference. And instead of knitting a split hem would be if I were to knit all of the front stitches ribbing by itself and then all of the back stitches by themselves, and then there would be like a little gap in between. I chose to just knit 2x2 ribbing in the round. So this is what the bottom looks like. It does kind of hug in a little bit. I think that when I block it, it'll just spread out. So I did go down a needle size, but it is a very stretchy rib. So I think that it's going to sit kind of flat like that. And that will be just fine for me. Now the only thing I have left are the armholes. So for this type of sweater, this is like a drop shoulder tee almost. And you just pick up some stitches around this armhole for some ribbing, and that will happen over here as well. And then the V-neck. I think the V-neck will be just a little bit more complicated because there will have to be some very specific decreases that happen right here in the center to make it look nice. I'll let you know how that goes. But I've been doing, this was really great knitting, really relaxing knitting, because after I finished sort of the shaping that happened here along the V-neck, it was mostly just knitting in the round on this lovely sort of cotton linen yarn that has really, I think you can see a really lovely drape. Again, this is that Lina yarn, Lina. It's got a really nice drape. So a little bit more work left to do on this project, but not very much. And that sort of puts me in a position where I'm looking to figure out what I'm going to knit next. And I don't really know. Often I have some plans, some ideas of what I'd like to make next in terms of sweaters, but it's summertime and I don't really want to start doing heavy or woolen necessarily knits. So there are a couple of patterns that I've seen come out in the last little bit that have piqued my interest. One of them is by Jessie Made Designs. It's called, I think, the Sunday Swirl Top. tank. I'll put the correct title here and a picture. This one, again, I could use this beautiful DK Sandnes Garn Lena yarn in, there are an assortment of colors. So this is a cute little top. I guess I'm just sort of wondering how much I would wear it. So I think it'd be fun to knit because it's kind of lacy. So it would be a more of an interesting or maybe challenging knit. So that's one of my options. The other option is the Pop Rock Tee, another fabulous design by Knitalong. She's really come out with a few cute tops that have caught my eye lately. The Pop Rock Tee would be very similar to the Geddy Tee in the sense that the shape of it would be very similar. So this is it's essentially a drop shoulder. What happens when you knit a big rectangle like this is that when you put it on, as it falls off your shoulder, that kind of creates the sleeve. And that's exactly what the Pop Rock Tee does as well. And I do like the short sleeve version, but I've been a little bit enamored with the colorful long sleeve version as well. Which then begs the question, what colors to use? And that has sent me down a rabbit hole of color options. I've looked at mini skein sets. I've looked at various different color palettes. And so I'm sort of looking at options in terms of if I were to make that long sleeve tee, which would be a cute little pullover, what colors would I use? And what color palette and how many colors? So I have lots of questions. Just this morning after I worked out and I was drinking a coffee, I was looking at color options and I came across a color palette by Summerlee Designs. Summerlee, who is my probably favorite sock designer, came out with a color palette in a giveaway that she did recently. And so I had a look at those colors and I realized some of them I have in my stash and some of them I could purchase to make that color palette into a striping sweater. I'll pop a picture of that color palette here. She also very helpfully included the brand and the color names for those colors. So that is something that I'm thinking about too. I don't really want to rush into buying yarn for a project that I won't wear. So I'm sort of taking my time about making a decision about what I'm going to knit next in terms of my next bigger project. Let me know in the show notes below if you think I should knit the Sunday Swirl top by Jessie May Designs, or the long sleeve Pop Rock Tee by Knitalong, or maybe a short sleeve Pop Rock Tee by Knitalong, or if there's another design that you think I should have a look at and give a try too. Also, if you love the color palette by Summerlee Designs, let me know. And if you have other color designs or maybe mini sets that you think would be cool, let me know about those too. I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the show notes below. So I have one other little project on the needles, and again, it is an Eileen market bag. I can't get enough of these. While I'm sort of in this phase where I'm trying to figure out what to knit next, this just seems like a very easy project to pick up and work on. And in the end, I'll have some more market bags. Either they will be used by me and my family, or maybe I'll put them in the gift box and they'll get given away to people. I'm not sure where or when, but they're just so useful, and I do get compliments on them a lot. And honestly, they last and last and last. So I'm making another Eileen market bag. Again, I'm using the same stitch counts that I mentioned earlier in the show, and I'm using leftovers again. This is some Undine, which is a yarn by Ritual Dyes, and I'm just going to pull out the yarn ball band so that I can give you the correct information about this yarn. So Ritual Dyes Undine is obviously done by Ritual Dyes. There's their logo. They are dyers out of Portland, Oregon, and this is a 4-ply fingering weight yarn It is a 60-40 organic cotton and linen blend. And in 100 grams, you get 392 yards. That's a lot of yards. So I've got this tiny little cake. It's pretty dense. Like I think I've got quite a bit of yarn in there. And I'm just gonna work until I have either finished the bag or I need to switch to another yarn. And if I do need to switch to another yarn, I have some more of that Tin Lena by Sadness Garn that I can use for the top, like I did for the other bag. But this is slightly rougher, I think because of the higher linen count. But as I use these bags, even if they are a stiff linen, they soften up so much over time. And if I wash them again, that helps to soften them up. So another Eileen bag on the needles while I try and figure out what it is I want to work on next. Do you have your spring and summer knitting plans all figured out, or are you like me, sort of unsure what you want to make next? I'd love to hear what you're working on, and I'd love to hear how you're doing. So let me know in the show notes below. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope in the next couple of weeks you find some time to do the things that you like to do. I know I plan on knitting a lot. I'll see you soon. Bye.